Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kanisha if you already don't know. For today's video, we are going to be reading Kindle Unlimited books for a whole week. There are so many amazing indie authors that are on Kindle Unlimited, and I found some of my favorite authors through Kindle Unlimited. So I thought, why not read, some new books that I've never read before on Kindle, and let's see if I fall in love with them. So let's get into the video. Sorry if the lighting is really bad. I'm trying. But the first book we're going to be reading on Kindle is Reign of Shadow and Findings by Melissa Rowrich. I don't know if that's how you say her last name. But this is book 1 of the Legacy series. I'm just going to read you the synopsis. Of all the worlds and life they created, the gods favored their children the most. But with that favor came the fear that their legacy will one day become too powerful and overthrow them. Devram was created, a realm hidden amongst the stars. The gods gave their legacy the best of all the worlds. And then they left, a swore agreement to never return and to never interfere. Forced to a life of servitude, the Fae are required to provide for the legacy in more ways than one. Every 5 years, the eligible Fae are gathered for the selection and assigned to serve in one of the 6 kingdoms. To be chosen as the personal source for a kingdom heir is the greatest honor, and for the first time in the millennium, all 6 kingdoms have heirs choosing a source, but their selections could tip the power balance a little too far. Tesseline Asura, I feel like I said that name wrong, but it is a fantasy book, so, names are always going to be pronounced wrong. Was as forgotten as the realms, but when she finds herself the personal source to an heir of endings, she winds up serving in the darkest kingdom of all. The secrets within the heiress kingdom are meant to be learned and kept, but this was never the life she wanted, finding not only the fate trusts upon her, but the temptation to lose herself to desire. Tessa will do anything to escape her new destiny, until she starts to realize maybe their world wasn't as forgotten as they thought, and maybe she's the reason why. So I'm excited. I mean, it is a fantasy book, obviously. From the reviews, they seem really good. But sometimes, I try not to read too many reviews because then that sometimes just changes my opinion or just overhypes myself into wanting to like it more. So yeah, obviously I want to try to get more into fantasy books, so I feel like Kindle has a lot, Kindle Unlimited has a lot of fantasy books available. So, this is how I start my journey. And this is me starting another series that I probably will not finish. Because normally I never finish any book series. Because I never want it to end. So, yeah, let's start reading. Now our main character hiding in a place to eat her chocolate. And she goes, I was finding some place to eat this without having to share. Same girl, same. Oh my god. Okay, so our male main character, I don't know his name yet. Maybe I saw it, I don't remember. I just don't know his name right now. He asked her if she is slated to be selected because of the whole 6 kingdoms having heirs selecting their sources at the same time. So it's a really big night and this girl is just eating chocolate. Okay, she's just eating chocolate. And she says no, and he's like, are you upset by that? She said no. And he's pretty shocked that she said no. And he said, really? And she said, you told me not to lie to you. And he says, that I did. Do you always obey orders so well? I love romance books, okay? It's just something about it hits different more than just regular contemporary romance books. Okay, I am so excited for this. I literally can't wait to continue reading the rest of the book. I'm only on page 8. I haven't gone far. Yesterday I barely read. Okay, I was just tired, but I am ready now to read this book. Oh my god. He goes, so you are either more obedient than you care to admit, or he trailed off, his fingers dropping to her bare shoulders and brushing down her arm. Or what, she gritted out. Or is it just with me? It is neither of those things. Ah, now you are lying, he said, his lips finally turning up into a small smile. What? Who is this man? Who is this man? Who is he? Oh my god. Stop. Literally, this book is so good right now. I have no words. I have just been smiling and giggling for like every single page that I've been reading. Okay, so she becomes selected by the person that we meet. I don't know how to pronounce his name, so I will figure that out later. But he says, we both need bags, but mostly you do. She goes, me why? He says, you will want to change before your first mark. It will be exhausting. Furthermore, I do not think you want to travel in that gown, no matter how stunning you look in it. Why is it so good? He's just saying everything. It's itching my brain in some type of way. So yeah, right now I'm enjoying the book. I really like it so far. There's all these other side characters too, which there's a lot of names. So I'm trying to learn their names if they're going to be included like continuing with the book. So yeah, but this is kind of set in like kind of like a modern fantasy world, because Tessa, this girl, she is always hungry. I guess she isn't always hungry, but she was hungry during the selection, and she was talking about like pizza, donuts. So I'm assuming they're in like this fantasy world that's like still modern. Like it's not like an historical fantasy or like a fantasy world that's like set like a thousand years from today. So yeah, that's what I'm kind of sensing. But so far, I'm really liking it. Yeah, I have nothing else to say besides the fact that I'm just really liking it right now. I have like a makeshift tripod. Okay, so this camera might fall, but I just want to talk about hold on, the title is just so long. Reign of Shadows and Ending. I am on page 277. I have made progress, and so far, like, I love it, but I feel like the thing, I'm trying to explain this without like spoiling anything. It's basically that Fae are forced to serve gods and legacies. So it's kind of like girly has to be obedient to her master. That is what she kind of calls him sometimes, like for formal stuff. So it's like very much like these fae, they do not have like their own like just like rights like to their self, to their body, to anything. So yeah, there are dark themes in this book. So I would say this is a dark romantasy book. Okay, like I didn't see the trigger warnings like when I opened them, but maybe I just missed them. There definitely should be trigger warnings. Okay, so there are trigger warnings which I feel like you definitely should read, because this book talks a lot. Okay, there is a lot of stuff that, you know, might trigger someone, especially the fact that it's just, I don't know how to explain it. There's just a lot going on. Like, I don't want to say too much because it might spoil some parts of it, but so far I'm really liking Tessa. I think she has potential of being like an amazing female main character, like a very strong female main character. Like, I see a girl, Dion, I don't know if that's how you say his name, I haven't figured it out yet because I've just been reading. I kind of like him. He is like 50-50. Like sometimes he's saying like sweet things, okay, and then other times he's like a little bit mean. But overall, like, still like him. The side characters, love them so much. Luca and Axel, I think that's how you say his name, are amazing. I love these two side characters. They are everything to me. Luca is kind of like, oh my god, I don't even remember what he is anymore. I don't know, he's just there. I can't remember what he is. But Axel is Theon's little brother. And I feel like Luca and Axel, they kind of understand Tessa in a way that Theon doesn't really understand. And I can see that he's like frustrated with that because she is his source and they need to like bond, and it's not working, and it feels like she has bonded with these two more than him. But I feel like they just understand her because Axel says the way she spoke, she's broken so many times, she's just figured out how to hold the pieces together. And I'm like, that is so sad but so accurate, and like he just understands. So yeah, those are my updates right now for this book. I'm gonna continue reading. This is like 600 pages, so we're in for a long, long journey. Oh my god. Tessa, she looks great right now. She's wearing a beautiful dress, and they're waiting for their car at the hotel, and some people are like looking at Tessa because she's beautiful. And she goes, "I'm not going anywhere, Theon." He says, "What?" She says, "If you tighten your grip on me anymore, you're going to leave bruises." He says, "I don't like them looking at what is mine." She says, "Let them look. You are clearly the only one who gets the touch." Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm screaming. That just made me so giddy inside, okay? I don't know why. It just did. I am so happy that I discovered this book. See what I mean by Kindle Unlimited? Like, there are some books that are just hidden that I would have not found. Okay, because sometimes book talk doesn't work. My Kindle Unlimited does work. Okay, so my update for Reign of Shadows and Endings. I finished it today. I literally stayed up until 3 a.m. I think I got to like 500 pages and then I stopped. And then I just finished the last like 100 pages ish, maybe a couple hours ago. And my rating for this is a 4.75 star. I thought it was gonna be a 5-star because like honestly the first like chapter, the first everything, I was hooked. I really loved the story so much. But towards the end, I felt like I was getting confused of what was happening. So that's why it isn't a 5-star, it's a 4.75 star. I don't know what's in this book, but for some reason I just loved it so much. There are mixed reviews on this book, okay? Like, you need to read the trigger warnings before you read this book. This is a dark romantasy book, okay? This is not something you're gonna take lightly, and a lot of people will not like it, and I understand why a lot of people didn't like it, and I also understand why people loved it. So, proceed with caution. But I love Tessa. Some people say she's whiny, she's like a child, but for some reason I just loved her. I think she was just relatable to me, which I feel like explains the type of person I am. So yeah. I love Theon. I felt like sometimes he said sweet nothings. I feel like I said this earlier. He said like sweet nothings, and then all of a sudden he like changes. But I feel like he is in a tough position because he is basically the heir of this kingdom, and he's trying to prove that he's not like his father, but he kind of is. Like, he is his father's son, so he's trying to separate that. But Tessa goes through a lot in this book, okay? Like, Miss Girl, I just felt bad for her because she thinks she is nothing. She thinks she is worth nothing. She thinks she's a disappointment, she's a hassle, she is someone who's tough to deal with. And so, Theon doesn't really help with that, like sometimes because of the dynamic that is happening, because he's kind of like he is the master and she is kind of like a slave. I know that's like probably the worst term to use, but I don't know how to explain it any better than that, okay? So that is why I'm saying read the trigger warnings. This might be a new favorite series, so I'm so excited to read the second book. I was going to pick up the second book for this to continue in this video, but I think I'm going to save that for another time. We are going to move on and read another Kindle Unlimited book because I'm so excited now. Like, I am hyped. I am hyped up to read another Kindle Unlimited book, but I haven't picked one yet because Honestly, I'm still thinking about this book, but I'm gonna go on my phone. I'm gonna go on Kindle and see what books I want to read next. I don't know if I'm in like a romantasy, like fantasy vibe, or I want to read like a cute, cozy rom-com, or maybe like a horror mystery book. So we will see. So I went on Chat GPT and asked it to give me some book recommendations by indie authors, because while I do want to read mainstream authors, I feel like Kindle Unlimited is kind of the reason why there's so many indie authors, and it does give like some growth for a lot of indie authors, and so I want to support that. The book that I think I'm going to read is Hollow Heathens. I'm going to put the cover right here. One of my favorite book creators ever, Heather. If you know Heather, this is Heather. She read this one, and honestly, her reaction and everything, I just love watching her videos. And so I think I'm gonna read this one because I kind of wanted like a gothic romance fantasy type of book. So this one is perfect. The synopsis, I'm gonna read it to you. Once upon a time, there lived a girl named Fallon who was taken away from home shortly after she was born. A home that held more than strange traditions and bizarre superstitions. 20 years later, she returns to Weeping Hollow, a town she only heard about in stories during restless nights under a marble moon, to take care of her last living relative. They called the noisy mortician a freak show, a ghastly thing. They said I couldn't go near her. Still, there was this aching pull to Fallon Grimody, I don't know if that's how you say the character's last name, that I couldn't escape. A nostalgic pull as if you've been here before. Hold on, I need to change my camera batteries. Okay, I am back. And then the synopsis continues. Once upon a time, there lived a mysterious boy named Julian with a curse as old as centuries wrapped around his soul. He was one of the 4 hollow heathens, the very dark creatures who caused the townspeople to live in fear, and the Blackwell name was stained with darkness and death. They called him a monster, cold and hollow. They said I shouldn't go near him. Still, there was this aching pull to Julian Blackwell that I couldn't escape. A nostalgic pull as if you've been here before. So I'm excited. The duology, it says you can read it as a standalone. So I'm assuming there's interconnected series somewhere that the author has. But there are 2 books for this series. We have Hollow Heathens, which is the first one. Then we have Bone Island. I haven't heard, honestly, anyone talk about this book besides Heather. So I'm excited to read this, and let's see what happens. Okay, so I just want to talk about Hollow Heathens. I got to like the 100-page-ish mark. I haven't talked much about this book because honestly, I have just been enjoying reading it. Like, I'm having a fun time. But there are some things that I've like highlighted and annotated that I want to talk about. I just realized my Kindle's gonna be like super slow for that, so I'm just gonna go on my phone. But basically, Hollow Heathens, we follow our main character Fallon, and she is going into Weeping Hollows for the first time. This is a town that, you know, she has heard many stories about, and the only reason she is there is because she has gotten letters from her grandpa that he has been unwell, so she's kind of there to take care of him because he's kind of the only family member she has. And you know, when I'm reading this book, I'm imagining this town to be like spooky. Okay, this town, to me, it seems like there's no one in this town. Okay, that's like the vibe I get. Even though there's a population of like 600-ish people, the vibes, it feels like a foggy, misty, dark, small town where everyone knows one another, okay? This is a very close-knit town. And Fallon is an outsider, but everyone seems to know Fallon because her mom used to live in this town, and everyone knew her mom, but Fallon doesn't know her mom. So, yeah, there is just a lot going on. And there are witches, like covens, involved in this book, which I didn't know. So there's 2 covens, Norse Wood Coven and Sacred Sea Coven. And so her mom was from the Norse Woods and her father was from the Sacred Sea Coven. So there is a bit of history between her parents, and yeah, it's gone really interesting. Like, I'm really curious to know everything. And then there are these, I think it's like 4 of them. I could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure 4 of these men who wear masks. Okay, and like there's some type of curse that if they take off their masks, like people die or something like that. I could be totally wrong, but from what I'm reading, I think that is how it's going. The romance between the 2 main characters, Julian and Fallon, I have already fallen in love with them. Like, I don't think you understand. She's like, do you want to hurt me? And his wild gaze looked into mine, and his brows bunched together. What? Then his eyes softened. No. He said it as if he couldn't believe he had to convince me of the same. I don't know, something about that did it for me, and I was just like giggling. And there's also this one sentence which I think is really funny. Okay, she's describing Julian, and she says he was tall, solid, and sculpted as if created by Michelangelo. And I was reading that at the park, and I was like, I'm like, hee hee, hee hee, oh my god. So yeah, I'm just enjoying it right now. This is almost like a 600-page book, which I did not expect, but I think I'm flying by it because I'm just literally having so much fun. Something about these types of books, they just get me. Okay, I don't get it, but they get me. I'm gonna continue reading, and I will give another update probably like halfway, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Depends on my mood, because sometimes I just want to film and talk to you guys. Other times I just want to continue reading. So yeah, there is something in this book, Hollow Heathens, that I am just loving. Oh my god. I wanted to film my reactions yesterday, but I just kept on reading because I was like, I cannot put this book down. I have to continue reading. And I'm going to say some quotes that I wanted to say earlier, but I just couldn't. Julian literally says, because when you look at me, you see me. It's different with you. You make me forget the mask is even there. And then he's like, I'm gonna break this curse. He added in a whisper. I have to. He is so in love with Fallon. There is something that is pulling him and Fallon together. And then there's also this other story that is being like told in this book that kind of follows a similar pattern with Fallon and Julian. So I feel like it has something to do with that. There's like definitely, they're like connected somehow. Like they were other people in a different life. That's what I'm thinking. So yeah, and then they've just fallen in love. There's just something about this book that it's just the perfect vibes right now. Honestly, in Vancouver, it is not sunny. It is raining. Okay, it's dark. It is raining. It's just not the vibes. And for some reason, the book just fits the vibes for today. So I'm like so excited. I'm on page 205. I'm chapter 17. So I'm gonna, continue reading. Maybe I'll start the next book that I'm gonna read today too as well, because it is already Thursday. I don't think I can start another book tomorrow and then finish it the same day. So we're gonna overlap some books because I don't want to just read 2 books for this video. I feel like that's just not fun. I want to add a 3rd one, and it's gonna be a fun one because I have kind of like a genre in mind that I want to read, and I think it's going to be really fun. So I'm going to continue reading, and I will give another update later, and I will also talk about the next book that I'm reading. Oh my god. He goes, will you come here? She says, no, I'm still mad at you. And he says, you want to come here and kiss me? Or are we going to argue? Because you're giving me mixed signals here, and I don't know what to do with this. It's all very new to me, Fallon. I'm having so much fun reading this book. Like, truly, this book has me giggling in the best way, okay? Like, I don't know. There's something in this book that's just has my attention. So, I'm on page 275 of Hollow Heathens. I didn't get too far in because I was distracted with other things. And I'm like almost at like the 50% mark. So, we're gonna start the next book at the same time while reading this, just so like it can overlap one another and I can get this video out, faster. I had a few options for this book because I think it's gonna be really fun reading this. because I haven't read anything like it. Maybe something similar, but I wouldn't classify that book as part of this genre. It's like, it's kind of similar, but like not exactly the same. It is gonna be a werewolf romance. Okay, the only werewolf romance I think I read is Bride, and it's like almost kind of a werewolf romance, like Omega verse, whatever you want to call it, but not really. But I really want to read one that has like the covers, you know, with like the smoldering man with like a wolf on the cover. Okay, I want to read something like that, something that has a crazy name that I would not tell people I'm reading in public. So the first one I have downloaded that I think I am gonna probably read this one. Okay, this is wild to say. Do not judge me. Okay, do not judge me when you see the cover. Do not judge me when you know, hear the title of the book. But it is called Claim by the Alpha by J. Raven Wild. And this is the cover. This is the cover, by the way. Okay, that is like option one. That is probably my only option, to be honest, because the rest of the books, I don't know, that this one had good reviews, so that is why it's like downloaded in my Kindle. Obviously there are other werewolf books, like there's one called The Alpha and His Mate by B.E. Wakeford, The Alpha King's Queen by Eloise Benjamin, The Art of Avoiding Your Werewolf by Lola Glass, The Alpha's Unclaimed Mate by Gretty Rudraw, claimed by my fiance's brother, Krista Lark. There is a bunch of werewolf romance, okay, and I think we're just gonna go with Claim by the Alpha because I feel like it's gonna be tame for me. I just wanna like get into this, okay? Like, this is just a fun book that I'm gonna have a fun time reading. I just know it. Like, I'm gonna be talking to you guys and telling you, and then be like, what is wrong with me? But secretly, like, in love with it. But I'm gonna read that, but not right now, because in 5 minutes, Selena Gomez's new album comes out, so I'm gonna have to like listen to that, like pause everything to listen to that, because I have been waiting for her new album. So yeah, those are just my updates at the moment. But let me just tell you the description of Claim by the Alpha. Crazy that I'm like saying stuff like this, because what has my life become? From reading like cute romance books to reading werewolf romance books. All Gemma wanted to do was get away from werewolf politics and her dominant alpha father who has done nothing but control her life. She wanted nothing more than to be a free woman and not to be forced to marry another controlling male. When she ran off to the other side of the country, she didn't think that she'd be running into another dominant alpha male, Aiden. He shows nothing but distaste towards her. She would leave, but she's financially strapped and has nowhere else to go. It will also seem that wherever she goes, he's there. Aiden has tasked his brother John to hire an assistant for their company, giving them strict rules not to hire a woman. So it came as a surprise when John went against Aiden's request and hired Gemma. One sniff of her, and Aiden is having a hard time controlling not only his temper but the urge to shift. Just give me a moment. Just give me a moment. There is something about her that stirs his... Let me reread that again. There is something about her that stirs his wolf. Okay. But he doesn't figure out what it is until another alpha wolf comes into his territory and takes Gemma. Will Aiden come after her, or will he let her go? Will Gemma finally concede to live life among the wolves, or will she run again? Okay. See? Okay, I mean, yeah, that sentence was crazy to say, but this is book one. So there's a bunch of other books. If I like this, we are gonna read the other ones, because why not? But I have like 2 minutes left before the album comes out, so that's all I want to talk to you guys about. But so far, enjoying Hollow Heathens, excited to get into that book, and kind of curious to see what happens, because, you know, I want to kind of expand my reading tastes, or genres, kind of like just, because those, like, honestly, the most unhinged books are the funniest books to read. Because there was this one series called Ice Planet Barbarians by Ruby Dixon, I think that's the author's name. And even though that book was like crazy weird, like blue aliens, you know, mating and doing other things, it was still fun to read. So, you know, don't judge me. But yeah, I'm gonna be right back after I listen to the album, and then we're gonna continue reading these books. Okay, I am back after listening to the Selena Gomez album, and that was amazing. But I just opened Claimed by the Alpha, and it's only 136 pages. I thought it was gonna be longer. So, I mean, that works perfectly because, like I said, Hollow Heathens is almost like 600 pages, and this is like 136 pages, so I feel like that is good enough for me. I just marked that book as currently reading on Goodreads, and I just said, don't judge me. This is a safe space. Like, truly, this is my safe space. Like, please do not judge me on what I'm reading. Like, I know it's weird, but this is what I'm reading. I feel like it's good that it's like less than 200 pages. I can kind of get into this type of genre without being overwhelmed by like a long book. We are going to read this. I am curious and somewhat excited. I don't know. I don't know my feelings right now. This part was so funny. He says, I scared her. Good. She needs to be afraid of the big bad wolf. My chest rumbled as my wolf agreed. What have I gotten myself into? I truly don't know what's happening. I truly don't know what's happening. I'm on chapter 2. I haven't gone that far into the book. Because honestly, I'm just processing the fact that I'm reading this type of book. Like, my reading journey has gotten to this point. The way that he just kissed her and then he ran away. Why was that so funny? It was like, I ended the kiss as quickly as I could without hurting her. She appeared surprised, but I just couldn't explain it. Not yet. So I ran away, for good measure. I slammed the front door, closed to ensure she didn't follow. I don't know why that was so funny. He ran away like he was like a schoolgirl that just kissed her crush. Okay, so my thoughts right now on this book. Obviously, since it is less than 200 pages, it is very fast paced. So far, I am honestly like kind of liking it. Like, I'm kind of liking it, but it's not that bad. It's not the worst book I read. There are definitely like trigger warnings for this book. There is some darker themes involved in this, so keep that in mind. On page 107, I have like less than 30 pages left, so you know, I am almost towards the end. Like, I'm almost finished, and honestly, I'm just having a fun time reading it. Like, yeah, there are some cringy like lines and stuff, but overall, I'm having fun. It is a fun read. The amount of times that Aiden has said, "You are mine," is like insane, but like, it's making me giggle inside, which I don't know if it's a good thing or not, but not the nodding. I forgot that's like a thing in like werewolf romance books. Oh my god. I just finished Claimed by the Alpha, and honestly, I had like a fun time reading it. I don't think it's gonna be 3-star. Like, my 3 stars are basically books that I still liked, and I will remember the characters, and I will like love that book, but I'm not like extremely obsessed with it. So I feel like this is probably gonna be a 2.75 star. I'm not too sure yet. I will let you guys know in the morning, just to like collect my thoughts, because you know, this isn't the type of book that I normally read, so yeah. But anyways, that was fun. We are gonna move back to Hollow Heathens. I feel like that was a good palate cleanser. in between. You know, that was fun. I had fun. And now we're gonna finish Hollow Heathens, and I'm gonna be so excited about that. Literally, Julian says, once upon a time, there was a heathen so lost, he screamed so loud. He followed the rules, followed the code, but never followed the useless thing inside his chest. Until now. Until you. I'm almost finished with Hollow Heathens. I'm on page 558, and I think this is like the last couple pages for this book, so I'm gonna record my reaction because I'm kind of curious to see what is gonna happen. Okay, I'm kind of curious. Okay, I just finished Hollow Heathens. I will collect my thoughts in the morning. I will also let you know my thoughts about Clean by the Alpha because I didn't talk about that book at all because I was just reading this book. But oh my god, I just went on a roller coaster towards the end. Like, I kind of want to read the next book. I'm kind of excited for the next book. I don't know. So I'm going to talk about Claim by the Alpha first. That one, I gave it a 2.75 star. I honestly had fun while reading it. Like, it was a fun book. Do I remember anything that really happened? No, because honestly, it was kind of just like a good palate cleanser in between the books I was currently reading. I would say I wish it was a longer book because I think less than 200 pages really don't connect with, you know, the characters, obviously, and I felt like I really wanted to know these characters, but overall, I didn't. But if you're looking for like literally a short book that maybe you want to reach for your reading goal, you can pick up this book because I probably read it like an hour, 2 hours-ish around that time. But I don't have too many thoughts about that book because obviously nothing really happened. And it was just a quick, fast-paced book that you were just flying by. And now I want to talk about Hollow Heathens. Okay, Hollow Heathens. I gave this a 3.75 star. I thought it was going to be a 4 star, but the way the book ended, and then I thought the next book was going to follow the same characters. No, it follows different characters. So I was like, oh, this is just how it ends. But I love like the spooky, gothic, cursed little small town. Like, I was loving the vibes. The way the author was like writing the sentences, I felt like I was actually there in that small town. Like, it was perfect. So definitely the perfect fall book for when fall comes around. Like, it's gonna be perfect to read that. Towards the middle, I did get confused because honestly, I just didn't know what was happening. Like, it kind of just dragged on, and the same thing kept happening over and over again. It's like, oh, like they can't be together. Oh, but they're together. Then they can't be together. Then they want to be together. They're gonna try to fight this. Doesn't work. He leaves. He's grumpy. He doesn't wanna, you know, talk to her. And she's like, oh my god, Julian, like, just talk to me. It was just very much a back and forth thing happening. Like, I was like, girl, please, please stop. I was truly there for the vibes. Like, I really had a fun time, and I still would continue, like, the next book in the series. So I'm excited for that. But also, this was giving like Romeo and Juliet vibes because it's very much forbidden love. It's like between witch covens that don't want these two people to be together, and the whole town is like trying to fight them being together because they don't want that. They don't want that to happen. They want her to be part of a different coven, and he has this curse that is happening to him. But overall, I had a fun time reading it. And that is the end of this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. My battery is like running low, so I'm gonna speak as fast as I can. But I really enjoyed reading all these books, and obviously finding some new authors that I have never read their books before, so I'm excited to continue reading some of their other books. But I hope you guys have an amazing day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.